following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the MSP North podcast, brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Fans don't let fans drive drunk. My name is Brady McAtamney. My co-host, Blaine Kellar. Blaine, how are you today?
Loving this weather. It's finally flannel time. So there's your weekly weather update with the MSP North podcast to kick it off.
Absolutely. It's starting to feel a little bit more like fall instead of that 100-degree second summer that we were feeling there. We're going to kick off today's show by welcoming in a second-time guest here for this season's podcast. We love Todd Hood so much that we're bringing him back, head coach of the Rossview Hawks. Todd, how are you doing today?
Fine, guys. How y'all doing? I'm just putting my jacket on, got my hoodie on, my beanie on, my gloves on, man. Hey,
it's great, isn't it?
70 outside.
It's fantastic, isn't it, huh?
Yeah, so great.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys lost last week to Springfield, but it was a very close game, especially at halftime. Looks like you guys might have given Springfield their toughest battle so far. Tell me a little bit about that game and how you guys managed to keep it close, especially in that first half.
Well, I think we have a really good game plan, and we tackled well early. We moved the ball well early. And our special teams has been really phenomenal this year, and that got to back them up in some certain situations. The second half, we just didn't really – they made a couple of adjustments, and we just missed some opportunities to get some big plays. We didn't execute those real well and sort of put us back up there. We didn't move the ball real well in the second half. And, they got to roll a little bit and getting some big fourth down plays and just got up on us at the end there. But I thought early we played really good. We sort of tapered off there at the end. But we really had a good, hard battle from our kids. We fought hard, and so I'm proud of that effort.
Yeah, this week you guys have Gallatin on deck, a big region game, especially if you're hoping to make the postseason. Gallatin, a team that is always going to be pretty good out there out of Sumner County. Tell me what you guys are seeing from them, and maybe some things that you're potentially looking to do in that game.
Well, I think Gallatin, they're very similar to Springfield in their physicality. They've got some really big linemen on both sides of the ball. Their fullback's about 240 pounds. He's bigger than most of our linemen, if not all of our linemen. So, we've got a good game plan in this week. Obviously we got to stop the running game and put them in passing situations. I don't think they do that great. The quarterback runs the ball well, throws the ball pretty decent, but that's not their specialty. Their specialty is the ground and pound and sort of like MMA, So, hey, we'll mix it up with a little bit ourselves. And then offensively, we just got to move the ball and get some points on the board. They like the ball control and ground and pound and eat the clock up. So for us, we got to get some points. We got to move the ball and eat the clock up ourselves. But the bottom line is we got to score points, and that's the game plan this week.
Well, Coach, if Gallatin is anything like Springfield, I think that bodes well for you guys in regards to the passing game. You guys limited Springfield to 0 passing touchdowns last week, and you're the first opponents to do that all season against an undefeated team. But really, go ahead. Well, you probably didn't see it, but they completed about 18 in warm-ups. So if you're not counting those, I guess we're okay, and we're proud of that. But yeah, we did a pretty good job on their pass and attack. We matched up the routes real well. But they got those big fourth downs on us. They're getting 2 and 4 and 5 yards a clip, and that's what we're going to see this week. And we're going to make sure we get them in long yardage situations and shut them down. Coach, I wanted to ask you a little bit about your do-it-all kicker, Chance Seiler. Most people don't have their kickers running offensive plays and even making tackles on defense, but it seems like he's a do-it-all guy for you guys. How important is he on special teams, offense, and defense for you?
I tell you what, he has been a delight. He has been a hard worker. He's a great young man. He's a soccer player. He plays soccer with my son Dylan. So when he said he was coming out, he kept coming to me and kind of saying, "Hey, listen, when soccer season ends, come and find me." Well, he'd show up about every 2 weeks, and I would just repeat myself. I'm like, "Chance, I get it, man. Just go to soccer. When it's finished, come and find me." Well, he did. The first day soccer was over. He got in the football program and started working out. And he's never kicked a football before, and you can't tell by watching him kick. So he has been phenomenal. You know, we can rugby kick it, straight on kick it. He places the ball real well. He's got a deep leg when he kicks it. So, hey, he's been an offensive threat for us. It started in the summertime when we had passed the league. Man, he was really phenomenal. We could tell early on that he knows how to run the routes and avoid the collisions and get to the right areas. So we plugged him in on some defense. He's done a good job over there for us. So he's really been a special delight and a surprise for us this year. He's very aggressive, and he just loves playing football, and he's fun to be around.
Yeah, so you guys are off to a 2-4 start here, 1-1 in the region with a loss to Clarksville and a win against West Creek. Tell me a bit about what you guys you think you've learned about yourselves in this 2-4 start, and if you think some of these games against really good teams like Riverdale, Clarksville, Springfield, what some of those games might have taught you guys.
Well, I think number one, it's just all about execution, your mindset, and the biggest thing is if you ever get physically whipped, that's something you can't control. But what you can control is your execution, your preparation for the game. Those are the things that we have to control and make sure we know where we're going, what we're doing, and how we're doing it. And I think so. In some of those other games, we didn't execute very well. Maybe we went to run the wrong route, didn't throw to the right area. Maybe we stunned it in the wrong gap. So those are things that we try to perfect, is just get ourselves better, and then we can execute better on Friday night without thinking as much and playing much faster. I think last week we played a little bit faster, and we got more physical. We just got to continue to execute a little bit better, especially in third and fourth down situations.
Absolutely. Execution, name of the game, right?
Yes, sir. You got to have that.
Absolutely. Well, Todd, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. And I will actually see you on the field against Gallatin, and looking forward to it.
Appreciate it, guys. Okay, guys. I'll see you tomorrow night. Have a good day.
Thanks, Coach.
See you, Todd. We're going to head to a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have former Springfield athlete and Tennessee State wide receiver Dayron Johnson on the show. Stick around.
It was just a few drinks. I'm good.
I thought it was good.
After every game, we always have a few. It's no big deal. It was no big deal.
Hey, I can hold my liquor. I thought I could hold my liquor.
Welcome back to the MSP North podcast. Can you hear me? Brady, can you hear me? Okay, just making sure. You looked a little frozen there for a second. On to our next guest.
That's just my stone cold stare.
Yeah, right. Absolutely stoic. We're going to Springfield for a big Region 7 5A game this Friday. But before we get to our guest, Tennessee State athlete and former Springfield wide receiver Dayron Johnson, let's preview that game a little bit, Brady. Henry County Springfield, as we've kind of talked about, it's a de facto region championship game there. You know, you covered that game in the postseason last year in the Class 5A quarterfinals. What did you kind of see, if you can remember, kind of gauge your memory back there? And what do you think needs to happen on Friday for either team to win?
Yeah, that was just a heck of a game. I mean, these are two really good teams, really, storied programs, especially in this last decade. A couple teams that, especially for Clarksville, Montgomery County schools, when they see them on the schedule, they're shuddering a little bit because they know that they've struggled with these teams. But last year, Henry County took that in the playoffs after Springfield won in the postseason. You almost wonder if that could potentially be the reverse scenario this year, where maybe Henry County takes it in the regular season and Springfield wins in the postseason. But Henry County shut Springfield out last season, and Springfield is not going to want that to happen. So I think if Springfield can get off to a strong start, get up by a score or two, I think they're going to be in pretty good shape.
Well, we heard it from Brady McAtamney here, what needs to happen. Duran, thanks for joining us today. What needs to happen for Springfield to get this win going into week 7 of the Tennessee high school football season?
I say Springfield has got to keep playing as a team that they've been playing.
Have you been able to watch them much this season? I mean, I know you're probably busy kind of keeping up with your side on Tennessee State, but I mean, what have you kind of noticed from this team as opposed to the last couple of years? And what do you think makes this team special in regards to going into this game?
I say this team's special because they've been playing with each other all the way up to high school, to junior pro to high school, and they all know each other really well.
Absolutely. Well, in your own regard, you've got a pretty interesting team, going into college here with Tennessee State. Obviously, Tennessee Titans great Eddie George in his second season. Give us a little insight into that program and what it's kind of been like going from Rod Reed, the previous coach, into Eddie George now. I mean, the past couple of years, what's it been like for you as a player?
A lot have changed. I mean, Coach Reed was a great coach, but Coach Eddie has changed a lot of stuff. He's bringing more people around, getting us the stuff that we need for the program to make sure we're at our best.
Yeah, this year the OVC is looking a lot different than it did when you first came into the program. Obviously, teams like Austin Peay, Murray State, Eastern Kentucky, Jacksonville State, all gone. You got some new, fresh faces in there. What's it been like trying to adjust to seeing all these new teams and losing some ones that you're familiar with?
I pretty say it's still the same because we still got to go in and do what we do, like watch film and all the other stuff. But there's some other good teams that can join the conference too.
As an athlete, kind of dealing with all of this reclassification and all this different cycling that's going around with college football, does it make it any different game planning wise? I'm sure in years past, you could maybe look at UT Martin, Eastern Illinois. You could look through the schedule and say, I've played these guys before and I know what to expect. Maybe not the same with Lindenwood and a couple of the other programs that will soon join the Ohio Valley Conference or, have joined it already. Does that make it any different in game plan?
I think every year is different because you bring in different talent and new people. I think you bring around, say, transfers to your program. So I think every year is a new year, and it's going to be different.
Duran, I wanted to ask you about this a little bit. The first 3 seasons at Tennessee State have been pretty successful for you, 700 receiving yards almost. But if I heard correctly, you're rehabbing from an injury this fall. Is that kind of tell us what happened there and what you kind of need to do to get back on your feet going into next year, being the dynamic player that you are?
A lot of people don't know this, but I really hurt my knee. I said the last 3 games of the season, I had knee to knee with somebody. And I think I tore my meniscus then, but I didn't take it too serious. So, like, the first day of camp, we come back and we go first day of fall camp. And I was running the route that I normally run and had success running it. And I just heard pop. So right now, it's been trying to get back to 100% and take it slow, keep my mental right, and keep leaning on the people around me.
Yeah, one game that pops out on Tennessee State's schedule from this year is a good game that you guys played with Jackson State. Obviously, that's a head coaching matchup of Eddie George and Deion Sanders. I mean, that's a pretty wild coaching matchup that you're not going to see often in college football. Did that game feel any different knowing that you had 2 NFL legends on either sideline?
Yeah, it makes a blood boil just a little bit, like you ready to go. Like you don't need much to hype you up. Like you just ready to get out there and play and show what you can do.
Going into your next season, I guess, as you kind of rehab this year from this injury that you suffered at the beginning of the year, Duran, what do you think the goal is for you in regards to maybe as an FCS player, as an Ohio Valley Conference player? You were, an all preseason OVC player going into this year, but you don't really get to live up to that throughout the season. Is that something you're trying to replicate next year? What are the goals for you when you get healthy?
To be a good teammate and come back 100% like I was. All the individual success will come with it if I just keep doing what I'm doing, being a good teammate.
Awesome. Duran, great stuff. We really appreciate you taking some time on the MSP North podcast today.
Yep. No,
Thanks, Deron. All right, we're going to head to one more break. When we come back, of course, one thing, game of the week, player of the week. Stick around.
It's just a few cocktails at happy hour.
It was just a few cocktails at happy hour.
Really good try.
There aren't any cops around.
I didn't think there were any cops around.
I drink and drive all the time.
Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I need you to hang on, okay? Run your name, sir. You are right now? Now.
Welcome back to the MSP North podcast. A little drumline intro for us there. That's got me feeling some high school football, right?
Yeah, I was in a high school band. I think we've talked about this a little bit, but not in the drum line. I was in a trombone section. So I think we need to get a trombone intro going, Billy.
I'll make sure I get the trombone going next week.
There we go. Yeah, Blaine was a band kid. You heard it here first. Actually, where you met your wife, right? In the
Yes.
in the high school marching band.
She was in the color guard. I was in the low brass. So yeah, there's a little nugget of information on my personal life for you.
There you go. Match made in heaven. Color guard and low brass. If you're listening, you're in one of those. You never know who might be in that and on that other side. Let's head to our one thing, Blaine. We're going to give you guys two one things today since we started a little bit late. But Blaine, why don't you start us off?
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about East Robertson volleyball, a team that lost 4 starters, I believe, from last season. 4 seniors that were really impactful on their team. Even their head coach didn't think they were going to be that great this season. And of course, sports has a way of being ironic. They're 28-4 as of Monday. Going into the district tournament, they had given up 2 sets all season, district play. They beat Valor, who's a really tough Nashville area team, played a lot of higher class teams. They beat them 3-2 in 5 sets. This is a team that never made the state tournament, but they've swept 14 of their 32 games this season. I think this is going to be a really interesting team to watch out for in the postseason to see how far they go. They're young, but they've had a lot of success this year just finding a way to win.
Yeah, I think East Robertson might have to start paying some of your salary because ever since you came around, I mean, you see them in football, basketball, and now volleyball looking like state tournament teams. Baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I think I need to deserve some sort of sponsorship or something here. I'm not going to say it was magic, but, we've had a couple of state championships since I came around.
That's right. It's pretty impressive. Speaking of state contenders, the District 13 3A soccer tournament coming up next week. One of West Creek and Rossview won't even make the region tournament because they have to play each other in the first round, which is insane to me. Those teams are both such good teams, and it's going to break my heart to see one of those teams lose because, both of them are just such fun teams. The question is whether Clarksville is going to be the favorite. They'll have Springfield or Northeast in their first round game. And then they'll play the winner of that West Creek Rossview game, assuming they win that first round game. Whether they're the favorite or not, we'll see. But it's going to be a very fun tournament this year.
It's a matter of that West Creek and Rossview game. Who has the better food truck at their game? Right. It seems like this entire season, a big theme has been food trucks at soccer games in District 13 AAA.
That's right. Yeah, West Creek first game of the season had this awesome grilled cheese food truck, something I had never seen, and I had a grilled cheese and some cheese curds. I spoiled myself a little bit. And at the Clarksville Rossview game, Clarksville High had this awesome Mexican food truck. So I had a quesadilla and some fries, and it was awesome. So I can't wait for that.
Yeah, I think they should give out a separate trophy for who has the best food truck at their games.
I'm willing to award one. Yeah,
maybe in the all-county team, best food truck.
I can see that.
Let's talk a little golf. I believe the only golfer in Robertson County to make the state tournament is a repeat from 2 years ago. Greenbrier's Tyler Williamson, senior golfer with interest from 6 Division I schools, did a little story on him at the beginning of the season. Qualified in Monday's regional. He shot an average of 68 this season. If he shoots that again in the state tournament, that would be good for second based on last year's results. And it's way better than me because I do not golf at all. My best golfing comes in mini golf or putt-putt, whatever you want to call it. I don't think I could shoot a 68, not even close.
Yeah, last time I went to Top Golf, I hit a ball nearly 200 yards. Wasn't straight, but I hit it that far. So if you take me to the golf course, I might hit a bird or two, but at least I can get it far. My second thing, I want to shout out Kenwood football. Obviously, not as good as they were last season, as they're still building up their program after losing a lot of key pieces. But they beat Shelbyville Central by a touchdown. I believe it was 8 points for the first time since I've been here. So in 4 seasons, I didn't have the time to go back and check all-time history between those 2 schools. But since I've been here, Shelbyville Central has really had their numbers. So for them to go out and beat them, very impressive to me.
Game of the week in Robertson County. You heard it from me. You heard it from Brady. You heard it from Durant Johnson. Springfield, Henry County. Springfield Stadium holds maybe 5,000 people. I think it'll be close to 7,000. At least it should be Friday night. I mean, it is going to be an incredible game. Last year in the regular season, it was 6-3. I don't think we're going to have that showing again, just based on how good these offenses have looked, especially with Henry County's offensive line, Henry County's quarterback, and of course, Springfield's quarterback and Devin Crenshaw. Both teams have weapons. I think it'll be a really entertaining game, probably the most entertaining one we've had in the county so far.
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the games in our staff pick'em. I know I picked Springfield. Blaine, you might be a little biased towards Springfield, but who did you have?
I think I had Springfield. As you kind of alluded to earlier, I was kind of tempted to pick Henry County and make the distinction that if they win in the regular season, history shows that Springfield would win in the postseason. But, I decided I didn't want some people up my butt going into week 7. So we rocked with Springfield.
Good idea. I wouldn't want that either. Again, we also alluded to my game of the week this week, Rossview and West Creek. Going to be a huge game. West Creek beat them in the regular season. And, this is just going to be an excellent game. 2 teams with high-powered offenses, 2 teams with coaches who are doing an excellent job this year. It's going to be really hard to pick my coach of the year this year. Heck, this game could possibly decide who gets that distinction. But I'm really excited. I can't wait to see it, and I can't wait to get some good food there.
Player of the week, who do we got in Montgomery County?
Yeah, player of the week. I think this is a repeat of a couple weeks ago. DJ Merriweather from Clarksville Academy. Listen to this stat line he had this week. So he's the quarterback, 185 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. Pretty good. How about 255 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns? So that's 7 total touchdowns, over 400 yards of offense. But if you thought that was it, you're wrong, because he also had 5 tackles and he recovered a fumble. So, hard to pick against that guy this week. He just absolutely went off.
Yeah, he's got 15 touchdowns just passing, and then 9 touchdowns. 26 touchdowns through 6 weeks. It's honestly, and I don't know anybody in the area, in the mid-state, that might have those numbers.
Yeah, he's just been incredible this season. Obviously, excellent athlete. He's a heck of a baseball player, very good basketball player, and he's showing what he can do on the football field.
My player of the week is not a repeat and may not be a repeat for the rest of the season.
Probably
this
not.
is a 335-pound center that rushed in a touchdown in last week's rivalry game between Joe Burns and East Robertson. Wasn't much of a game, 41-0, but East Robertson still ran out its offensive and defensive linemen from 4 yards out in the second quarter, which, I'm all for gadget plays. I think gadget plays are great, but I don't know. You could tell there was some bad blood here, and they really wanted to make another statement. So, Tanner Cheatham, 335-pound center, rushed it in from 4 yards, stumbled his way into the end zone in a 41-0 shutout. East Robertson, once again, I can't say it enough. They are a very good-looking football team.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know who else loves gadget plays is our friend Alex Allard. Alex, I don't know if you're watching, but I know you're probably all for that kind of play because he's what you might call a football sicko. That's a big thing on Twitter is the sickos committee. It's basically just the weirdest things that most people would get absolutely tired or disgusted by, but some people just absolutely love them. A 335-pound center scoring a touchdown, right up his alley.
I think it's really up his alley if they do a wing tee with
Absolutely.
the 335-pound center. So
yeah, wing tee, wishbone, anything like that, I'm sure he'd be all for.
Chase Brooks, if you're hearing this, please give us credit if you run the wing tee with Tanner Cheatham next week.
I think that's a guaranteed touchdown from anywhere on the field, if you ask me. But So we're gonna end that show on that high note. Like I said, we started a little bit late today, so we're gonna cut us a little bit short today. But still, I think we gave you guys plenty of content today. I know I'm happy with what we got. Hope you guys are too. For Blaine Kellar, I'm Brady McAtamney. This has been the MSP North podcast, brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Fans don't let fans drive drunk.